Hello and welcome to another Pollitt's Projects, and this time Doug is looking a little bit different. Want to know how we got here? Well, you better keep watching then, hadn't you? Roll the credits. Why, Carl? Why must everything be difficult? Doug needs to go lower. A, because it's a Volkswagen and law dictates that it should be lower, and also because you can get an entire other Volkswagen Beetle in the arch gap. Happily, the guys at Max Speeding Rods have very kindly sent me a set of coilovers, and they should be relatively easy to fit. And aren't they shiny and new and lovely and yellow? I don't know how that yellow is going to work against the rest of the car, but hey, let's slap them on the car and see what's what. Should be a fairly simple thing to do. It's all bolt-on stuff, so here's an array of tools and parts and an axle stand with a cobweb blowing about in the wind. Got to do the lock and wheel nut key, obviously, and then loosen your nuts first before you jack the car up, and then when the car is jacked, the wheel will come straight off. Well, the bolts will anyway. I said nuts, it's bolts on this, because of course it is. They were obviously tightened up to 3 Newton meters. That's reassuring. Good job I've not been driving this car. Then don't forget to move your impact gun out of the way, and then let your jack sing the song of its people to your neighbours. It will bring them joy when they hear you dragging that across your gravel driveway. Jacking points on a Beetle are weird. That's why whenever you see a Beetle, including mine, the sills are all over the shop, because people try and jack it up from there and then the sills go That's the actual noise they make. Try it yourself, just not on my car, because as I said, my sills are already buggered. Jack her up to the sky. Trick is to hold the camera or have one hand on the tripod while you're jacking the car up, so you get a really, really jerky shot. So it's quite horrible in there. We're going to take all that off in a minute and change the strut and this, that and the other and change that spring. But we can clean it, we can make it a little bit better. So that is what we're going to do. You might be wondering what the drip tray is for. Well, let me show you. If the wheel is off and we have access to the inner arch, we're going to clean that. So first of all, a bit of TFR. TFR, if you don't know, stands for traffic film remover, and then a sacrificial microfiber. Probably should have just brushed that dirt off first, but we're here now, so we'll just keep going. Okay, so now that the strut is out and I've gone over it with some Genelite, which is awful stuff. I mean, I'm sure it's very good at what it does, but if you want to get covered in bitumen, that's the way to go. Genelite, bitumen in a can. This is not paid sponsorship because I'm going to have to spend 9 hours showering it off. Yeah, so right, strut's out. Got to get the spring out. Spring is easy. Don't do what we just did. I deleted a clip showing me trying to get Deb to push down on the brake so that I could get the spring out. The spring does just come out by hand. It doesn't come out by hand if you jack it up on the swing arm. So yeah, don't do that. Right, so Deb's going to stand on the caliper carrier. There. Aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, she said yes. She's going to stand there, she's going to piggyback me basically and push that down, and then the spring should just fall out. So let's see how that goes. All the way, Deborah, all the way! Angry! You're not doing it, you're not putting your full weight on me. What did we do last time? That's it. Piggyback me! Come on, woman! Commit! Commit! Yeah! There we go. What did I say? Commit! And that is the spring out. So we want to retain this little rubbery bad boy. Because if you don't have that, all that's going to happen is your spring is going to go every time you go over a bump. Not on your brake disc. If your spring goes on your brake disc, then you've really got a problem, and I don't want to hear about it when there's a court case coming up. I watched a fat man from Manchester do suspension, and then my spring came out of my brakes. That's you, not me. But anyway, we don't need that. Did that go in the bucket?
No, the bucket.
Oh, I just hit the bucket, didn't I? Oh, that would have been heroic. Anyway, right, so keep that. And then a new spring. So there's already a little copy whoppy in there, but we can't put that in just yet because we need to put the adjuster in. So when you get coilovers, and it's quite common, especially with Volkswagens, you'll have an adjuster at the back. So the spring sits on the adjuster like that, and that's how you adjust your ride height, because obviously the shock is a separate unit, so it's not a coilover at the back per se. In fact, there's not even a per se, I just wanted to sound French. So this is the rubber top mount from the car as it was. So just put that on the spring. Obviously you want to keep that because, again, don't want a spring coming out your brake disc. It's a very real coilover risk. Now, the spring goes over the adjuster, and then you just use brute force and ignorance to not do it. Hang on. My fulcrum's all wrong. My fulcrum's all wrong. I'm going to stand on it, but Deb's going to keep arming. Don't fight me. Working on cars on your own is fun. Get in there, you bastard. Bossed it. Made it my own. So that's bottomed out now. It's got the anti-seize on it, so if I ever want to raise the suspension, I'll never want to do that. But if I did, I can. Now, it's hard for Deb to get under there with the camera, but what happens is there's an 18mm bolt. It goes through that washer, and then that secures it to the cup. And yes, a great many of you will be watching saying, well, you could clean all that up while you're down there. Well, it's not rotten. And also, it's a Beetle that's worth 9p. So I'm not going to go nuts on it. There we go. Right, so that's that. Oh God, it's upside down. So is it lefty loosey, righty? So if I'm on the floor and I'm facing it, that would be righty tighty, wouldn't it? Yes, it would, yeah. There we go. It's alright, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We know what we're doing. It's fine. You can't really see, but there is a slight difference there in terms of the width of the shaft within the bush. The shaft within the bush. Welcome to Babe Station, where we describe it like a 1990s Argos catalogue. Insert the shaft within the bush. Anyway, yeah, the shaft here is too wide for the hole. So we need to calm it down a little bit, grind it down. Just need to do some casual grinding, and then that will fit. As you can see, I've got an Oipla. I've got one of them. It was probably £4 off Amazon. But it's a bench grinder, and I'll just take the edge off. If the last side is anything to go off, you can just do it by eye, it's not a problem. Just make sure you don't do it from one angle only. Otherwise you'll end up with a curve in it, and you don't want that. Now, as I said earlier, we need to retain that mount, so that can go on. You do get a new nut with the shock, so we'll put that on now. The only problem is, of course, I have to, not with that socket, because that's not the right one. With the socket I've obviously lost, I need to tighten that up. That's still the wrong socket. Deborah, where did I put it? It's not in the bucket, I just had it here. I'm going to tighten it up now, and then we'll put it back on the car. obviously retain your dust cap from the top. So that shock is built up now. That's been ground down, and that should fit in there now. It does, and it does. And that's it. It's that simple. It's, what was it? It was two bolts, a pinch bolt, and that's it. So 16mm all around. Job's a good one. Absolute doddle. That takes a bit of effort to get in and out. Now all I've got to do is put the wheel on. And now, because I'm going for the big fat sick rims, they're over there. Deb's going to swing left now and get a shot of that. The sickest of the 19s. I've already got one of the 19s on the other side, because I've done the suspension on the other side of the rear. Some spacery spacers are needed. So I've got some 20mm spacers here. I'm going to put just a little bit of anti-seize on the hub, and then just wipe off that bit. I mean, a thin skim on the face is fine, but you don't want to be daubed on. Otherwise, people on YouTube will shout at you. Have you about run out, son? It might all go wrong. Right, so 20mm spacers, and then I can put the wheel on. So Deb's going to get me the wheel now. I'm going to hold the camera. Wheel that wheel over to me, baby. Please, thank you, love you. She's going. Go on. This is all very raw for a pull-it video. Right, she's going to take over now. Now, normally, when you're dealing with a car with real bolts, you would have a little screw-in thing that goes into the thread of the hub, and then you can line the bolts up. The thing about putting spacers on, make sure you get the right bolts, because, or if you've got a car with studs, you need to change the studs, because obviously you're taking away bite room of the stud / bolt. So these are longer. I've test fitted these, and I know that these have got the same bite as the factory bolts. If you don't do that, your wheels will fall over, your wheels will fall off, and you'll die. That's it. There's no, oh, well, a wheel fell off and that made for a fun story. No, you'll just die. Now we are in the garage because the weather has taken a turn, and it's also a couple of weeks after I did the rear suspension. I've not been very well. I've had various physical ailments going on. So right, let's do the front coilover. It's all stripped apart. It's all jacked up, ready to go. So I'll show you how easy that is, because it is like 3 bolts. And remember, the Beetle is a Mark IV Golf platform, so it could not be easier. Although I'm going to make it more difficult for myself, because I have to clean the inner arch and make it look nicer, because, you know, when in Rome and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do that now. And let me see if I can turn the camera around. Ooh. Right, so we're going to do that now. So I've got lights, I've got the coilover, I've got the bits I need, the tools I need, the stuff I need, yada yada yada. So we will throw that in now, and then we'll stick it outside and see what it looks like. Probably too high, despite the fact I'm going to run that coilover on maximum drop. Apologies if it is a bit grainy, but you join me now under Doug the Bug. So I've undone one of the nuts on the top of the strut, and now we're going to undo the 2 18mm bolts, the pinch bolts, that hold the strut in. Okay, then the strut's out. In the end, I had to just cut the spring because it wouldn't come out, but it's not like it's going back on. What is going back on though is that top mount, because if we look at the new strut, there is no top mount on there. So, excuse me. So we need to get that off, which will mean holding the thread and undoing that nut, and then we can put that nut on the new one and then put it on the car, which is now all cleaned up under there. So bear with me while I take all that apart, and then we'll throw it in the car. That did not want to come off, but it's off now. Always remember, so obviously this bit goes under the car, but remember which way it goes. So that's under, and that pushes up, and then you bolt it in from the top. So, because there's a cup still there. Because if you don't do it the right way, you'll do what I did on the first side and bolt it all together wrong and then drop the suspension and it'll try and come through the bonnet. And you don't want that. Right, let's put all this on the new strut. Now, with this, obviously I've clamped on the shaft there, and that's fine because that's scrap. But I can't be doing it on that when it comes to getting the top nut secure and where it should be. So I'll probably just wrap that in some microfiber cloth and not go mad, and then try and torque it up when it's got the weight of the car on it. I think that's what I'll do. Someone in the comments will no doubt tell me I'm doing that wrong, but hey ho! Alright, let's do that. Oh, and one other thing to remember, I've put a bit of anti-seize on that, which is this aluminium based stuff. Consider that a present to future you, because when you want to adjust the suspension you'll be able to. So that's that, although I'm going to go full drop, so I'm going to spin that right down now. And there we go, one strut successfully put together. So now we're just going to chuck it in the car, and what we're going to do is make sure the curved side is, well, it sticks out about the same, doesn't it? So it shouldn't make too much of a difference, but I'll put that at the back. No, I'll put that at the front. And then just got to put the whole thing back together again. Yay! Now, fitting, as the Haynes Book of Lies says, is just the reverse of removal. So get the strut in the hub assembly or hub carrier thingamabob there. Now at the back it's got that little welded tab on it, so it can only go in so far. So just get it bottomed out and then put the pinch bolt back in. And then all I've got to do is feed it up there, which is grainy and dark, sorry about that. And I've got to jack it up so that I can reattach the drop link to the lower arm. There, so I'll do that now. Okay, so that's everything in now. So I've reconnected the brake pad sensor into the hooks that Max Speeding Rods build into the coilover assembly. Obviously the flexi just flexes over there. Now on the other side, when I put the 19s on, it was rubbing on here because the wheels are too wide. So to overcome that, I've put 10mm spacers on. There's already a 10mm on that side. I've got 10mm here. So it's twin PCD, so 5x112 and 5x100, as per the car. If I get that at the top, now all I've got to do is fight to get the wheel on, because of course it's bolt not stud, and I've not really got any bite left on the hub. But these things are sent to testers.
Go.
This gun has minimal torque, but that'll do for now. So, jeez, that's close. Oh. That is close. But close isn't touching, so we might be alright. These tyres, before anyone says you put them on backwards, which I think I have. Can't bother to work that out. I'm going to change the tyres. I will probably, much to the chagrin of many people watching, I will probably go a little bit narrower. So these are 235s, so I might go for 225s. Just take 10mm out of it. I mean, the wheel is clear-ish. Jeez, that is close. We'll see what happens. It's certainly not rubbing at the minute. Alright, let's drop it down, take it outside, see what it looks like on Da Street. Yes! It's not filming now. Gotta hope it starts first, not started it for a while. No. Come on! Oh, come on, baby. I should point out as well, I've got a pan to the left now to show the seats. I'm currently sitting on a subwoofer box because there are no seats in this car. That makes for an interesting driving position. There we go then, it's lowered thanks to Max Speeding Rods for sending me the coilovers. Yes, there are adjustments to make, it's rubbing on that side, but I need to change the tyres and I'm going to put the brakes on it, so this was just get the suspension on and then the car can move again. But I'm happy with that. It'd be nice if it was a bit lower at the back. I could take the adjusters out to really drop it, but there's a really bad sort of speed bump on my street and I want some level of drivability. Plus, it will settle a bit over time and I don't want it to be egregiously low. I want it to be usable as well. You know, the kids are going to be in it, stuff like that. But I'm happy with it. Dead easy, just nuts and bolts. It only took me a fair bit of time because I've been doing other things and I've been ill and blah 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 blah. Excuses. But it's done now. It's got those 19-inch Dynamics 8.5-inch wide wheels on, which I think make it look fully sick, as the kids say. Yeah, really pleased with how it's looking. More to do. Always more to do. The interior is mostly out of it, no seats in there, no dash, so I'll make a start on that soon. Then we'll make it look a bit better outside. So just make sure you tune in, hit the bell button, like, subscribe, become a patron. And if you are a patron, you're about to see your name in the credits. How exciting is that? See you in the next episode. Why, car? Why must everything be difficult?